topic on preparing teams for major games in the Olympic cycle.
All right. Before we begin this presentation, I'd like to do something a little bit different. I'd like to take 3 or 4 minutes, and in that 3 or 4 minutes, instead of just lecturing to you, I want to do an adult pedagogy exercise. I want to hear from you what you took away from that presentation. What was if there was one key finding, one key thing that you thought was useful and that you'd like to implement and know more about, or you can see the practical relevance of it, what would it be? Yes?
Do not force your beliefs on people of different cultures.
Okay. And why would you say that?
Their beliefs are different, and that might be, if you force their beliefs on that person, there might be a problem with their performance.
Okay. And a very good point. Someone else? And don't be shy, there's no wrong answer. There's just things that interest you more than other things. But just think about what you would take away from this, because my experience when I go to and listen to presentations is oftentimes I don't retain anything, to be perfectly honest. If you've ever been to an academic conference or a coaching conference, you probably have had that experience also. So I'm sort of, in having this discussion, what we're trying to do is just trying to do a pedagogical review of some of the key takeaways. Yes? Dr. Vella?
Practicality.
Practicality. And what do you mean by that?
I think sports psychology, looking into the cultural, based on, compare with theoretical aspects and also the practice. I think cultural sports psychology is more on the practical side. So you need to understand the culture, bend the knowledge that you have, and gel with all the information that you have around you, the clients, the surrounding, the needs of the athletes, all those things, and put it in a practical way.
Yeah, and I think you've got to think about it as culturally relevant sports science, not just culturally relevant sports psychology, right?
Yeah.
Like my vantage and Dr. Vella's vantage comes from sports psychology, and yet not all of you are sports psychologists, and you don't need to be, and the relevance of this is not constrained, it's not restricted to sports psychologists. It's also relevant to each one of you in your practice. A lot of the cultural sports psychology, if you go on to Google Scholar with the academics, sadly what they're doing is they're poaching the idea of cultural sports psychology, and it wasn't the way I meant it to be. They're turning it into a critical form of research that you actually can't transfer into practice. And you've probably